Alright guys, in this quick video I'm going to be talking about boarding and training and what happens after boarding and training. You take the dog with you from a client, and then the dog does amazing with you because you build a rapport, you have nice set of structure in line, and then the dog goes home. The performance that the dog gave with the trainer or in the videos doesn't always match the performance that takes place at home. The important thing to remember is when you take the dog home, the dog has been living with this other person, with the trainer, for several weeks, anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, 6 weeks, maybe even more. So when you take that dog home, you have to remember this is not the same structure that this dog had about 24 hours ago. So when you take the dog home, when you bring the dog home, just kind of take it nice and easy, okay? Or maybe put the dog on place. I'm sure if the dog has stayed with the trainer for several weeks, the dog at least understands what place is. Something very simple like place, something like that, or even the crate. Let the dog adjust to the home environment all over again. Then the next day or so, even later that day, do start with some of the commands that the trainer has given you. So start with something, again, sort of simple like place, door manners, some recall here and there, but don't expect crazy intensity, robotic performance as soon as you take the dog home. I've heard of this, not from my clients, but from other trainers who had clients that the clients took the dog home, the client went to a park, a dog park more specifically, cut the dog loose, and the client expected 100% performance, and the dog, naturally being a dog, suddenly it's not with that trainer anymore. The dog decided, no, I'm not gonna come back. You're not that trainer that I live with and that was very consistent for the past month or so. So what we want to do is we want to let the dog know, look, I am just as consistent as the trainer, and I am going to hold you accountable just like the trainer, and a lot of good things are going to happen with consistency just like that trainer that you live with. But we want to do this in small steps, in steps that we can control. Okay, again, if we're going to do a recall, maybe don't take the dog to the park right away. Maybe start in your backyard and maybe do it on leash, where you can follow through, and you're letting that dog know, I'm going to call you and you're going to come back, and this is how it's going to end. Good things happen, big reward, and if the dog decides not to do it, that's when we let the dog know, hey, you are coming when I called you, period. Okay? Another one, it could be, when the dog is on place. The dog is on place. Start with something kind of low distraction. Don't bring your dog on place in the family picnic, family gathering, maybe in the living room with mild distractions, and start with that. The key is hold the dog accountable, because they just went from a very structured, predictable relationship with the trainer for the past several weeks to now they're back home, which home is where a lot of these problems started. So we want to let the dog know, hey, nice and slowly, and we're going to do things that you and I can handle. Okay, I know I can be consistent if the distractions are low. I know I can be consistent if the environment is kind of small at first. Let us build that consistency before we take it outside, before we go do crazy things, because I have to almost rebuild my relationship, this time with consistency, after I bring that dog home from that boarding and training. Timing, consistency, motivation. Timing, the consequences, whether it's good, good things happen, or this happens when you don't do it, they have to be delivered in a timely manner right away. Consistency, that means it will happen every time. Okay, there's always a consequence for not doing what you're supposed to do. There's also always a good consequence when you do what you are supposed to do. Okay, that also is consequence, and that also is consistency. And motivation, meaning whatever it is that encourages you to do it, I'm going to make sure that I do it. And a lot of times people mistake that with, treats and ball and all good things. And that certainly is a part of it, but it's not the only part of it, okay? Motivation also means I'm gonna make you do it, and I'm gonna use the amount of pressure necessary to convey to you that it has to get done. So that also means corrections if that is something that you and your trainer have talked about. One thing I do with my clients is I always tell my clients when they take the dogs home, hey, contact me if you have any questions, because my goal as a trainer is their long-term success. So I'll help them out any way that I can. I will set time aside to talk to my clients that I've worked with in the past. And if it's something that is that can quickly be addressed, I will address it with them on message or on the phone. And I'll be as thorough as I can. If it's something that needs more in-depth work, then we will set up follow-up lessons, or we'll set up another refresher training. Okay, but that's something that you want to be able to do with your trainer as well.